The FIM has unleashed a seismic shake-up in MotoGP with new rules set to transform the sport. From giving injured riders like Jorge Martín a fighting chance to return stronger, to taming the chaos of last-minute bike swaps that left fans gobsmacked in Austin, courtesy of Marc Márquez. These aren't just minor tweaks, they've sparked heated debates with plenty of cheers and jeers, and even Márquez himself has a unique take. Let's dive into the drama, so stick around to the end. The 2025 MotoGP season has proven that the sports rulebook still has gaps begging to be fixed. The FIM, in cahoots with the MotoGP Grand Prix Commission, has responded with lightning speed, rolling out a series of rule changes that are as strategic as they are dramatic. Ratified during a pivotal meeting in Jerez, these changes tackle two massive issues: the comeback of injured riders and the pandemonium of pre-race grid procedures like the mayhem we saw at the America's Grand Prix. Let's unpack how these rules will reshape MotoGP, ensuring fairness for riders and delivering heart-pounding action for fans. One of the most game-changing updates is aimed at riders forced to sit out due to injuries, a recurring headache in the high-stakes world of MotoGP. The case of Aprilia's Jorge Martín, who missed the first 3 races of 2025 with an injury, lit a fire under this reform. Martin's absence exposed a glaring problem. Riders returning from injury often get thrown back into the deep end with no chance to reacclimatize to their prototype bikes before facing the pressure cooker of a Grand Prix. His comeback in Doha, marred by a crash that caused a pneumothorax, hammered home the need for a better system. The FIM's solution is a proper game-changer. Riders who miss at least 3 consecutive Grand Prix races or 45 straight days of competition can now take part in a one-day private test at a circuit not hosting a MotoGP race that season. The test can't happen within 8 weeks of a race at that circuit, and there's no extra tyre allocation. Tyres used will come from the manufacturer's test team allowance, capped at 3 sets. This rule gives injured riders a shot to prep properly without tilting the competitive balance. Miguel Oliveira, sidelined since the Argentina sprint race, could be the first to tap into this rule. That said, Pramac has confirmed Oliveira will race at Le Mans this weekend, possibly without needing the special test. Meanwhile, Jorge Martín, who skipped the Spanish Grand Prix, might opt for a test if he's back before the British MotoGP on 25 May. This rule doesn't just help riders recover smarter, it adds a fresh, strategic layer to team prep, making every comeback a moment fans will be buzzing for. Jorge Martín, the Aprilia rider whose ordeal sparked these rule changes, couldn't hide his chuffed reaction to the FIM's 2025 MotoGP updates. "I'm proper chuffed with this special test rule. Missing 3 races is a right slog, physically and mentally, and getting a chance to shake down the bike beforehand helps me come back with a bit of swagger. Shows the FIM's got our backs," Martin said, adding that Aprilia's buzzing about it too, as it lets the team prep their injured riders proper without the mad rush of a race weekend. On the new grid protocol, he chimed in, "The start rules tidy things up, but they're a bit of a head-scratcher for teams to nail their tyre strategy. Aprilia's always quick on the uptake, so we're ready to crack on." He reckons his team sees these changes as a golden chance to sharpen their planning and smash it on race day. Another electrifying change was sparked by a jaw-dropping stunt from Marc Márquez at the America's Grand Prix. In a Hollywood-worthy move, Márquez sprinted to his pit box less than 3 minutes before the start, ditching his wet tyre bike on the grid for a second bike fitted with slicks. Half the field followed suit, triggering absolute chaos that forced race direction to wave the red flag. The fiasco screamed for clearer rules to prevent future madness. The FIM answered with a no-nonsense yet fair new rule. All bike tweaks must be wrapped up before the 3-minute board goes up. After that, any rider still tinkering has to haul their bike to the pit. They need to clear the grid and be in the pit before the 1-minute board appears, where they can still make adjustments or swap bikes. These riders will start the warm-up lap from the pit lane, take their assigned grid spot, and might cop a double long lap penalty if race direction deems it necessary. For the MotoGP class specifically, if a race is declared wet or the white flag is raised, riders can pit at the end of the warm-up lap to change tyres or bikes without extra penalties, beyond the usual delay exiting the pit. But if more than 10 riders start the race, not the warm-up lap from the pit lane, the start gets scrapped and a quick start procedure kicks in. Here, all riders can swap bikes and return to their original grid spots, opening up new strategic possibilities that could flip the race dynamic on its head. These rules are designed to streamline start procedures, cut down on chaos, and keep races fiercely competitive. For fans, it means more nail-biting moments on the grid, where last-second calls on tyres or bikes could make or break a race. Picture the tension as riders like Marquez weigh sticking it out on the grid or gambling in the pit lane. Pure fuel for unforgettable MotoGP drama. Marc Márquez has given a thumbs up to the FIM's 2025 rule changes, though with a touch of caution. The special test rule for injured riders is a solid move. Coming back after a long break is tough, and a test like this can get us race ready without big risks. But the start protocol? It tightens up strategy. In Austin, I took a punt because it was do or die. And now those kinds of calls will have clearer consequences. It's a fresh challenge, but I'm game. Racing's all about adapting, Marquez said, buzzing about the new dynamic while noting the stricter start rules will change how riders like him play the grid game. These rule changes aren't just technical, they're seismic for teams, riders and fans. For teams, the special test rule offers wiggle room to plan an injured rider's comeback, letting them fine-tune performance without bending competition rules. It also adds a strategic edge to resource management like tyre allocations, which are now more critical than ever. For riders, especially those clawing back from injuries, these rules are a lifeline. The chance to test a bike before racing again slashes the risk of crashes due to rustiness, while boosting their confidence on track. Riders like Martin or Oliveira now have a safer path to peak form, which ultimately ramps up the quality of the competition. The FIM's 2025 rule changes have cracked open a bold new chapter in MotoGP history, delivering fairness for injured riders and controlled drama at the start grid. So, now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you back the special test rule for riders like Jorge Martín, or do you reckon it hands out an unfair edge? What's your take on the new start protocol? Will it kill off thrilling chaos like Austin, or spice things up with smarter strategies? Drop your thoughts in the comments or share with your fellow MotoGP fanatics. Let's hear your voice and fuel the fire of this rip-roaring motorsport debate.
Welcome to GP Talks. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.